Georgie had to rest somewhere away from her shed one night. "It will be all right," she said to herself, but she was wrong. She saw steam whooshing. "Who's there?" she asked herself. Georgie was still scared when she saw Agatha's ghost come in, who was evil, twisted, and psychotic. "Ha ha 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 ha," said Agatha. "You know that I wanted to be purchased for the Northwestern." "Thomas and Henry tattling were not the reason you blew yourself up," said Georgie. This made Agatha inch closer to Georgie. "You, the soft dummy, will be all mine. She cackled. But before she could take Georgie with her, Clinchfield 311, the friendly ghost engine, had shown up on the scene. "Please leave this poor engine alone. She doesn't deserve any abuse," said Clinchfield 311. Agatha thought for a while. "Georgie, I'll spare you as of now, but I'll take you with me soon," she said. Then Agatha left. "Thank you, but who are you?" said Georgie. "My actual name is Jessica, but please call me Clinchfield 311 if you like," she said. "That's okay," said Georgie. Clinchfield 311 had become a true friend of hers. The next day, Georgie dropped off her passengers at the station when Patricia came in. "Have you heard about any ghost engines?" Georgie asked. "Yes," puffed Patricia. "Please tell me," she puffed. "It was one night when I was coming into Harrow and Wealdstone." "When I saw him," said Patricia. "Who?" Georgie asked anxiously. "Windward Islands," Patricia said, "who was destroyed in a terrible accident, had come back from the dead. While I was heading home, I encountered his ghost, so I knew to run from him," she puffed. "I had met a ghost engine." "Did you get rid of his ghost in any way?" Georgie asked. "Yes," puffed Patricia. "My driver put 2 crates of TNT on the line," I said. Then we waited for the moment of truth. We put both crates to the test. We then saw Windward Islands' ghost again, and he was coming straight for us, I said. And then it happened. After that, the ghost of Windward Islands was gone forever, I said. Georgie was anxious about her next encounter with Agatha's ghost as she left. The next night, Georgie reversed into a siding. "We're here for a reason," she said. "We're waiting for Omri to pass us with his passenger train, and that is sweet of you to let him go before you do," said the driver. Georgie was anxious when she saw steam hissing at her. "It can't be," she said. The ghost of Agatha came to Georgie. "Clinchfield 311 won't be here to save you this time," she said. "I've spared you once, and now I will take you to your grave," said Agatha. Agatha laughed as she inched closer to Georgie. But then, after Georgie looked back at the tracks, she saw that Agatha had vanished. And soon enough, Omri did come by. After that, Georgie left for her shed. "I hope Agatha doesn't take me with her," said Georgie. She then had a nightmare. She puffed into the harbor. "Where am I?" she asked. Then Georgie saw steam whooshing. "Is someone there?" she asked. It was Agatha's ghost coming for Georgie. "I'm taking you to the underworld, mwahahahaha," she said. "No, I won't go with you," said Georgie. She saw it was just a nightmare. Then she went back to sleep. The next day, while Georgie and Gillon were exchanging passengers, they talked about how their nights went. "You had a bad one," Gillon said. "Correct, but deep down, I'd still worry until Agatha's ghost is defeated," puffed Georgie. Gillon left 6 minutes first with his passengers. Later, Georgie left with her passengers. Georgie made a plan for herself. "Next time I have an encounter with Agatha's ghost, I will tell Gordon so that he, Thomas, and Henry can figure this out," she said. Later, Georgie went to Hilltop Yards, where both Rosie and 87546 live and sleep at. "How are you doing?" asked 87546. "Fine," said Georgie. "What's wrong?" Rosie asked. 87546 was also concerned. "After Agatha's ghost is defeated, what will happen to her?" asked Georgie. "I don't know," Rosie said, and then Georgie left the area. "Well, let's hope things turn out good one way or another," said 87546. That night, Georgie had to wait in a siding for James to pass by with his nighttime passenger train. She felt very anxious. She then saw steam hissing at her. "Is anyone there?" Georgie asked herself. It was Agatha's ghost that appeared from the steam hissing. "Oh, Georgie, you should be at your grave by now," said Agatha in her ghostly demeanor. "No, I will not be denied seeing my friends," said Georgie. Then Georgie felt anxious about what Agatha would do. "You could have joined me, Georgie," puffed Agatha as she lifted Georgie with her ghostly powers. "But I see my triumph as a solo act," said Agatha as she tossed Georgie with her ghostly powers. Georgie fell upside down into a pile of mud. "Will Agatha do anything next?" she said to herself. She was right. Agatha lifted Georgie with her powers. "Put me down now," said Georgie crossly. "You're second fiddle, Georgie, and that's all you'll ever be," said Agatha evilly. Agatha threw Georgie with her ghostly powers. "Stop that, number 4791, said Georgie. "I heard that," said Agatha. "Now I have an island to haunt," said Agatha. "Oh, I hope nothing like this happens to me again," said Georgie anxiously as she went flying. She landed onto Fabian's nighttime freight train. "Let's hope that ghost of Agatha gets defeated soon," Georgie said to herself. "So Georgie gets purchased and it's a really happy day for everyone," said Agatha. "Happiness on their faces. And Agatha fades into obscurity, no longer important, no longer needed," she said. "I think not," she bellowed. The next day, Georgie was repaired, and she came to tell Gordon. "This island has a murderous phantom on the line, and her name is Agatha," she said. "I may be an important engine, but there would be a plan to think about," he said. Georgie felt baffled. I thought you were a boasting machine, she puffed. Correct, said Gordon, but what is going on right now is no time for that, he said. Then Georgie left. Attention, said Gordon. Thomas and Henry got there, and they stood to Gordon's attention. There is a murderous phantom on the line, he said. Any questions on what to do? I have one, said Thomas. Will we split up, and whoever finds Agatha's ghost first can lure her away? Yes, said Gordon furiously. This is not a joke, it's real, and what Thomas suggested is a good idea, said Gordon. While James was waiting at the station with his last passenger train, he felt paranoid. Why are you worrying? Said the driver. I thought you loved pulling passengers. I've been hearing the other engine say stuff about paranormal activity on this island, James replied. I understand that, the driver said. James felt anxious when he heard steam hissing. He was in disbelief when he saw Agatha's ghost. It's the ghost train, he said. That's right, said Agatha. You don't know that it was I who tried blowing up Thomas and Henry, but I failed to do so. Anyways, pass this on to Georgie. Tell her the final hour is between me and her, Agatha said evilly. She vanished into the night sky. As James left the station, he hoped to forget this encounter, but it would linger in his mind for a long time. The next day, James told Edward about his encounter with the ghost of Agatha. It'll be all right, but I think Thomas, Gordon, and Henry know what they're doing, said Edward. I hope so, said James. That night, Duck was returning to the Little Western after finishing an important order at the quarry, when he suddenly stopped. Why did you stop? Asked the driver. Because of all this supernatural activity business, that's why, replied Duck. Duck was worried when he saw steam hissing at him. And there she was, the ghost of Agatha. Duck stood there, frozen in fear of what Agatha would do. What are you doing here? Duck said in shock. Haunting this island, you idiot, said Agatha. That's me, Agatha, or should I say, number 4791, said Duck. Stop calling me by my number, said Agatha. I won't have any of your idiotic shenanigans, puffed Duck. There was some silence between both of them. You sure stand no nonsense, said Agatha. As of now, I'm sparing you, but if you fail to tell Georgie that her end is coming, you will be another victim of mine, she said evilly. Then Agatha's ghost vanished into the night sky. I hope that ghost doesn't come back soon, said Duck. After he said that, he thought about Thomas, Gordon, and Henry, for they knew that they would get rid of Agatha's ghost. So he continued down the line on the way to his branch line. The next day, Georgie found Duck and James at Knapford Yards. If I didn't tell you about what Agatha said about your time here on the island coming to an end, I would have been sent to the underworld with her, said James. I also got the same results, said Duck. Those ghostly threats are terrifying. Georgie couldn't do anything more than agree. Later, Thomas and Henry returned to the sheds with Gordon. Do any of you remember the plan? Asked Gordon. Yes, we do, said Thomas and Henry. Now is the time to put it into action, Gordon said. Thomas and Henry agreed. That night, during the search for Agatha's ghost, Gordon had ordered Thomas and Henry to split up to cover more ground. Henry waited for Agatha's ghost to come. "I'm sure this plan will work," he said. Henry heard steam whooshing at him. "Is that?" he said. It was Agatha's ghost. Henry left the area. Agatha cackled psychotically as she chased him. "Go away, you red brute," said Henry. "Never." Agatha said evilly. "No one can defeat me," said Agatha. "I'm unstoppable." Henry later met up with Gordon at Knapford Station. "I think I lost her," he said, but they were wrong. They were surprised when they saw steam hissing at them. "Quick, let's run," said Gordon. "Back at you," said Henry. said Agatha. "First you idiots, and then Georgie." Gordon and Henry saw Agatha behind them. "I should have known you were trying to protect Georgie, so you will go to the underworld with her," she said. "That won't happen on my watch," said Gordon. "He's right," said Henry. Gordon and Henry couldn't see Agatha behind them as they went on. They thought they lost her, but they were wrong. Both engines heard Agatha's ghostly whistle. They were happy to hear another whistle. "Leave this to me," said Thomas. "Georgie is getting her present." "I will not be denied my goals," said Agatha's ghost. Both Thomas and Agatha were coming onto the bridge. "You won't get away with this, Agatha," puffed Thomas. His driver got out 2 bundles of dynamite. Then he threw both of them on between the 2 engines. "You will rue the very day you did this, Thomas," said Agatha as she fell off the bridge. Thomas was happy to hear another explosion. "That's what you get for terrorizing our island," he said. Thomas thought about what Agatha had said, but he knew this had to be done for the safety of the railway. Georgie saw that Agatha's ghost was defeated for all eternity when she saw the destroyed part of the bridge. Then, across from Georgie, Clinchfield 311's ghost puffed in. "Shh, it's okay. Everything will be all right. Agatha's gone now," she said. The next day, Georgie came to say thank you to Thomas, Gordon, and Henry for ending the madness Agatha caused. "You're welcome," they said. "I've got to get my passenger train," said Georgie, and she left. Do you know what? Said Gordon. What? Said Thomas and Henry. Georgie loved her present, and that was another ghost engine we've defeated, said Gordon. When there's a ghost engine on this island, it's our important job to get rid of them, said Henry. All three engines happily agreed.